Well, in the wake of the deadly terror attack in New Orleans, city leaders scrambled to tighten security ahead of hosting next month's Super Bowl. So let's remember, not long after the Super Bowl, Mardi Gras happens in these very streets you're looking at. So security in New Orleans, and this goes without saying, it is under new and intense scrutiny following that New Year's attack, with the community horrified by what they saw and demanding answers and solutions. So CBS News national reporter Kati Weis is live on the stream with us. Katie, you were there in the hours after that. Your coverage has been masterful. Talk to us about how the Big Easy is getting ready for one of the biggest sporting events in the world and those security preparations.
Well, good afternoon, Reed. Thank you very much. It's been a tough week for a lot of people here in the Big Easy, myself included, but it's something that we've seen the city become very resilient. Also, some people, as they grieve, they're also starting to feel some emotions of anger, and we saw that play out yesterday in a city council meeting where those locals were demanding some answers about increased security here in New Orleans, including one thing that we heard at that city council meeting was the police superintendent recognizing that more experts need to be brought in. She announced that today she'll be bringing in a security consultant, a renowned domestic terrorism investigation expert, Bill Bratton. He's a former police commissioner, both for the city of New York City and formerly served as a police commissioner for the city of Boston, was a police chief in LA as well. He is actually en route here to the Big Easy right now and will be holding a press conference later this afternoon, a press conference I plan to attend, and we'll certainly let you know what happens. Reed?
Well, and as people start to gather for Mardi Gras, we understand that the Department of Homeland Security has really elevated the security level, or that security distinction. Tell us about that, because with that comes extra help to keep Mardi Gras extra safe.
Absolutely. You know, down here, Mardi Gras is a big deal. It's not just on Fat Tuesday. It's a thing that happens for weeks leading up to Fat Tuesday. So there are parades constantly throughout all of those weeks. In fact, there were just some parades earlier this week, and there are going to be more parades at the end of the week. And some of these parades are just pedestrian parades called second line parades, where people just walk. Others are parades involving floats. But those parades are definitely going to be involving a lot more security. There's going to be a lot more resources at the city's fingertips because of that designation from the feds. So we're going to be seeing a lot more troops, more manpower support. We're also going to be seeing more vessels, helicopters, bomb sniffing dogs, things of that nature, even trash trucks or sand trucks from the city to physically block and create barriers in roads to prevent vehicles from entering pedestrian-only roadways.
So let's talk about those barriers. And, first of all, our primary thoughts are with the families who have had to bury their loved ones, or families who are still bedside in hospitals. But there's also a discussion happening in New Orleans about those bollards, or those barriers that either weren't there on New Year's Day or broke. And the focus on making things safer by way of stronger barriers. What's the conversation where that's concerned?
Absolutely. That was something that has really been a sticking point from the beginning. Many city leaders have continued to contend, well, a terrorist is going to do what a terrorist wants to do. They're going to find a way. They're hell-bent. They're going to find a way to carry out their attack no matter what. However, some locals have argued, well, if certain barriers were working, if they were deployed, then this terrorist wouldn't have been able to travel as far, would not have been able to carry out the attack as significantly as this person was able to do just 1 week ago. And so some of the failures include there were archers that were not placed on sidewalks that we know the city did have. In fact, we know the city purchased over 100 of these types of archers back in 2017. So we're still working to learn more about why they were not deployed. We know that there was a wedge to block traffic that was broken at the time, and several metal bollards across each block that should have been up that were not working in those different intersections throughout Bourbon Street. And so yesterday at the city council meeting that I mentioned was a bit dramatic. Truly, the crowd was audibly flabbergasted to hear city leaders talking about these issues, and it seemed unclear. No one seemed to really know who's supposed to be in charge of maintaining these bollards, maintaining these different barriers. And so that was something I think that city leaders are going to be really focusing in on. The city council is going to be looking into, and we know now the state attorney general is also going to be investigating as to exactly what went wrong, what breakdowns there were, and what needs to be done differently as we approach literally 1 month today, the Super Bowl Sunday, big game day.
Well,
Reed?
Kati, I say this all the time on this broadcast. All national stories really are local stories. And for our viewers, this is the power of having our reporters in your communities, New Orleans, Kati's community. We thank you so much for joining us.